Before November ended, the Guardians of the Imperial Tomb, which was Ito's faction, had been undergoing serious internal strife. Saito had joined the Guardians of the Imperial Tomb as the Shinsengumi spy. And based on the intelligence report, the Shinsengumi had assassinated Ito. Okay, we just breezed by that. The attack on the Guardians eventually became known as the Aberono Koji incident. During this incident, the demons and the Satsuma intervened, and Heisuke had suffered a critical injury during the resulting altercation. In order for Heisuke to survive, he was forced to drink the serum. At the same time, Chikage Kazuma had planned and executed a coordinated attack on the compounds. The serum brought into the Shinsengumi by my father was now slowly eating all of them away. My heart began sinking from the weight of all this. Really? So we just skipped Ito, we skipped Kazuma, Okita's awesome fighting. Huh. Wow. Okay, then. I guess this is Sanan coming to draw blood. Probably. And then we could offer to help Toshi. Last time I was expecting all that, and then it just stopped all of a sudden. But I will check and see. No, it looks like that is going to actually play out. So we're going to stay here. We are not going to offer to help with any of that. It's not like I'm going to run into Sakamoto outside right now. Okay, so we are officially enemies as of right now. So when and how are we going to run into him? He's a fury, officially declared dead. No more love letters coming our way. Nakaoka's got a bone to pick with us. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. Kaoru and my dad want me alive. I guess a kidnapping attempt could be in the works. Yeah, I just don't know. Oh, chapter 5. I guess I can get rid of that. What's our picture? That's a nice coat. I am pleased you are not covered in blood, sir. I'm worried about the angle of the gun. Is that a gun in your pocket, or? Well done. Alright. Well, nothing else to say about that, really. It had been roughly a month since Sakamoto, Nakaoka, and Kaoru had all disappeared. I was barely given any time to mourn for Heisuke becoming a fury after the Aberono Koji incident. In order to stave off the Satsuma from assuming power through manipulation of the imperial court, the shogunate began occupying Kyoto. In response, the Satsuma Choshu also sent forces to occupy Kyoto, creating a tense mood in the city. As a contingency plan, the Shinsengumi had been stationed at the Fushimi Magistrate. However, only 2 days after we'd moved, an attempt on Kondo's life was made, sending him to critical condition. Kondo, along with Okita, whose tuberculosis had only been worsening, was sent to Osaka Castle for further treatment. Okay, gonna breeze by all that too, apparently.
Hey Chizuru, any idea when dinner will be? I'm so hungry I think I'll die of starvation before even fighting the Satsuma Choshu.
Please, give me just a few more minutes. It's almost done.
Shin, come on, don't rush her. Can't you see she's busy? Chizuru, anything I can help you with?
I was gonna say, Shin, if you want to hurry things along, you could help. But Harada, the great husbando over here, is always like, do you want to help with laundry? Can I help you with cooking? Such a nice guy. I'm fine. I'll be able to handle it. Please, give me a moment. Phew. As the meal ended, and after I completed all of my chores, I finally had a moment to breathe. Ever since word of the Imperial Restoration had spread, the fate of our government seemed tenuous. I wonder if it had actually come to a war.
It'd be stupid to swing your sword without knowing who you're fighting for. If everyone was so smart, then we wouldn't have any of these problems.
And I think he was the one wishing most for peace during this chaotic time. Just as these thoughts turned internally. Oh, hi!
Miss Yukimura, you have a moment.
What's up, Soma?
I have this for you.
Don't tell me you've been shanghaied into giving me letters. Really? But I guess if anyone in the Shinsengumi was going to deliver letters from him, it would be you. Soma took out a letter addressed to me.
I had been on my rounds, and a lady dressed in a kimono with a Sakura print handed this to me.
Sakura print? The cherry blossoms? I had a hunch who it could have been, and the letter confirmed it, its only note saying, Kaoru. Okay, so brother has a letter for me. I ripped it apart, rushing to read its contents.
I have something very important to discuss with you concerning Sakamoto. Please meet me. For obvious reasons, please keep this message secret for the Shinsengumi. Sincerely, Kaoru Nagamo.
The letter even had a point of contact listed on it. Concerning Sakamoto. Why had Kaoru reached out to me? I wonder if it could be a trap. I gripped the letter tightly, looking to see if anyone watched me read it, and I quickly exited the magistrate. Just Soma. You snuck out, really? Really? Just without a second thought, without any reservations? Just like, next scene, we're meeting our sister brother. Great. Okay, well this will escalate pretty quickly.
Kept me waiting, Yukimura. But I knew you'd come eventually.
You said you have something to tell me about Sakamoto. What is it? I kept myself alert, and Kaoru started giggling to herself bewitchingly.
My, eager to get straight to it. Don't worry. If you come with me, I'll tell you everything you want to know. Now, let's go. I'm sure it'll make you happy.
Oh boy. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. How far is this place?
Almost there.
Is it that shrine again? Yeah? It is. Interesting. Kaoru had brought me to the Inari Temple, located in Fushimi. Temple. As I passed under the famous Torii corridor, it felt as though I had entered a gateway to a foreign, majestic world. However, it wasn't the only surprise waiting. Ah! And you're always here, eh?
It's been a long time, Chizuru.
Father!
How are you doing, my child? My, you have blossomed into quite a beautiful woman.
Father, who had eluded me for almost 4 years, had currently been standing right in front of me. If I were a clueless child, perhaps I would have ran up to him for a prolonged embrace, but knowing of his involvement with the Shinsengumi made me more so eager to ask him questions. Father, there's something I need to ask you.
What is it, child?
Is it true that you performed research on the creation of the Furies with the Shinsengumi? That's not all I've learned either. I also heard that you've expanded this experiment in the West as they seek to overthrow the shogunate? Why would you do that? Didn't you become a doctor so that you could save lives, Father? Finally, I was able to load numerous questions that had given me sleepless nights for months, and my father simply furrowed his brow? Ah.
This is our first reunion in many years, and you inundate me with questions. Very well. This is something I need to tell you anyway, so I might as well just say it. As someone may have already told you, you are no ordinary human, child. You may have noticed your impeccable healing powers. You have, within you, powers surpassing any human. You descend from a demon clan.
A demon clan? Both Kazuma and Sen had mentioned this to me.
To our fellow demon clans, our Yukimura clan was a prestigious family who governed the demons of the East. They were destroyed by the humans.
Sen had brought mention of this fact to me as well. Father, please answer me. Why did you perform experiments on the Furies?
Is it not obvious? I have been working to revive the Yukimura clan.
Revive?
That is correct, my child. During the time in which humans had no technological advancements, such an endeavor would be needless. However, in this violent era of chaos, for us to restore peace once more, we must reclaim our people and our land. It is the only way. I believe the water of life and the power of the Furies will help us achieve this dream. Come with me, Chizuru. This time, we will be able to live the life we deserve without threat of extinction.
Father wore a warm smile as he offered his hand out to me, stretched to grab my own hand, but... That's interesting. So we actually get some background into what his plan was, like why he was working on this experiment in the first place. Okay. Very interesting. I don't care about reviving our clan, or to reclaim some land that was supposedly taken from us. The people who've turned into Furies. Sanan, Heisuke, Sakamoto, Nakaoka. I want you to return them back to humans. Father's eyes thinned and he laughed.
Why don't you ask them if they'd like that?
What? His response, could it mean...
I hear you and Sakamoto have developed quite the... rapport. I, of course, wouldn't want to hurt someone for whom you have developed feelings. You know how I work. I would never force him to drink the serum with no means of turning him back. Besides, he may have become a Fury, but he doesn't seem to bear any resentment towards us. His words, actually, not mine. Thanks to that serum, I was able to save my own life as well. I can do all I have aspired to now.
So you've drank the serum as well? I don't, like, is this her actual father? Or did he just take on the name Yukimura? I've been wondering that for a while. I mean, maybe he is her father. But, so if he is her father, he's an actual demon who needed to take the serum to save his own life? I've got so many questions. Every route, I just end up getting more and more questions.
Naturally, it took a little while for him to come around and accept it, but now I am certain he approves of the serum's potency.
Is that all true? I remember Sakamoto being upset that he had died before he made the impact he'd wished for upon Japan.
Yes, in fact, he wanted to see you. Follow us this way. Come.
Could I trust what Father had told me? Hell no! Don't you dare go!
What is the matter, Chizuru?
Father kept urging me. I'm not going anywhere.
What did you just say to me?
Sakamoto told me the only people who will benefit from using the power of the Furies were the Westerners. He said it was no different to how Britain had ruined China using the opium trade. So, I don't believe you for a second that Sakamoto would ever accept the effects of the serum. Whoa! That face change was so abrupt. That scared me. Father's eyes suddenly lost all warmth and kindness as if he had ceased his charade. I'm like, yeah, the way Sakamoto talked about the serum and stuff, there's no way he's like, oh, you know, it saved my life, so I'm totally fine with it now.
You are a stubborn one, my child. I suppose you leave me with no choice but to use force.
Oh, what? I hope that was just you grabbing her hand and not slapping her across the face, because rude. No! As Father reached his hand towards me to grab my arm, I instinctively slapped it away. Okay, that's fine. Just then, Hey, didn't you hear the lady? She said she's going nowhere. Nothing worse than a daddy who can't let go of his child. That voice! It's... Whoa! It's you guys! I was not expecting that! Thank you both! Sanan, you are the MVP for keeping tabs on all the shenanigans that have been going on with this guy. I salute you. Hijikata! Sanan! My goodness, all of you are here! Pardon our interruption, Kodo, but I am quite intrigued by the subject matter at hand here. Are you actually capable of reversing the effects of the Furies to transform people back to humans?
Oh-ho, I'm surprised you're out and about despite the sun still being in swing. I have to admit, it's a little hard to believe that the Shinsengumi was able to improve the water of life so well. Means you must be toughing it out.
Hey, answer us! Is there a way for us to turn back, or not?
Of course there isn't. Are you stupid? Once your blood has been tainted by the water of life, you can never return. The two of you were just failures.
You bastard! Flames burned inside of Hijikata's eyes, while Sanan, on the other hand, kept his composure and spoke with a tone so cold-hearted I felt nervous. I see. Now that you've had the opportunity to say your piece, I have made up my mind. Yup. If there's no way to return Furies back to their original form, then we have no reason to keep you alive. Nice. However, one question before I kill you. Heard you turned Sakamoto and Nakaoka over too. What for? From the side, Kaoru answered in father's stead. I'm like, is Kaoru still here? These men were no use to us dead. Who put you up to this? I wonder. Men as persistent as you are a real bother to be around, you know. Now, let's go, Yukimura. There's no more need for you to associate yourself with these brutes. Ow. As Kaoru's slender fingers wrapped around my arm, I found it hard to believe how much power they had. Hey, thank you, Heisuke. Hey, let her go! Ugh! Heisuke had leapt forward to jab at Kaoru, but his sword just barely grazed her sleeves. I took this opportunity to gain distance from Kaoru. Then, from the other direction.
What a boorish group you are. I suppose it is time to turn in for today. No kidding, how shrewd of them. You're all like a pack of stray dogs that can't help themselves outside of their pack. You think we'd let you off that easy? Sorry, but not even a fly could break through our line. Nagakura puffed out his chest and drew his sword. Yeah! Father had quickly slipped something from out of his sleeve. It was a tiny glass bottle, and inside of it was a peculiar, suspiciously discolored liquid. Watch out, everyone! Get back! As I screamed, Father had already thrown the bottle towards the Shinsengumi warriors. Ugh! The hell is this? No one inhale the powder! It'll probably blind you or something! Hijikata tried to warn everyone, but it was too late. Well then, everyone. I bid you good day. Chizuru, I will come for you next time. Just you wait, child. No, wait! I reached out as my fingertips just barely grazed their kimonos, but... Father and Kaoru vanished like smoke. After him, guys! Don't let them get away! They vanished. I am so touched that all the captains came to save her. Thanks, guys. Although I hope you reprimand her for just disappearing out of nowhere. The men scoured every corner of the temple as well as outside of it, but no sign of neither my father nor Kaoru had shown itself. Later that night, Hijikata called for me to meet him in the common room. Unfortunately, I couldn't find Koto or the other girl. That Kaoru person.
Ugh, I'd hoped to find them and resolve this all before we start preparing for war against the Satsuma-choshu. Hijikata forcefully bit his lip, seemingly out of frustration, and all I could do was apologize. I'm so sorry, Hijikata. What are you apologizing for now? Because... As I tried to speak, my throat quivered. I didn't want to believe it was real, but... Because my father imposed the water of life onto the Shinsengumi, lying about being able to change the Furies back to their human forms. I knew it wasn't just simple research on the Furies that motivated my father to act as he did. There must be a deeper reason to it all. At least this was the hope I had been holding on to in my heart. It seemed like my father had no reservations in turning people into Furies. Nor had he expressed the slightest hint of guilt for sacrificing real human lives for his purposes. This man was my father. No point in feeling guilty about any of this. The choice to start researching the water of life and turning people into Furies was something we decided ourselves. Hijikata tried to accept some of the criticism as his own to comfort my guilty feelings, but there was no way for me to easily absolve either my father or myself of the sins that were committed. Hijikata placed his index and middle fingers on the right side of the bridge of his nose as he spoke. So you know, from here on, our mission is to kill your father, Kodo. If being here during this is too much for you, I'll make arrangements so you can leave whenever you want to. Thank you. That's very kind of you, but please, allow me to stay here for just a little longer. All right, then. Understood. Father was the one responsible for cursing the Shinsengumi with the water of life. There was no way that, as his daughter, I could be allowed to take safe refuge somewhere far away and forget about all that's happened here. Besides, Father spoke about his ambitions to revive our family's clan. This is all my fault. I have to do whatever it takes to stop my father, even if that meant at the expense of my own life. Sakamoto, where are you right now? Her reasoning for why it's all her fault has always intrigued me. I'm like, okay, I can understand feeling some guilt. Like, guilt by proxy kind of thing, but for her to be like, it's all my fault, this is all because of me. Like, if she found out that the serum was made from her blood, then I could see her being like, this vile thing wouldn't exist if it wasn't for me. But that's not the case, so I don't know why she's always like, it's all me, I must atone with my death. Oh, Chizuru. It was the dawn of a new year. January 3rd, 1867. War had finally broken out between the Shogunate army and the Satsuma-choshu forces. In comparison to the amassed total of 15,000 Shogunate soldiers, the Satsuma-choshu managed to gather just above a third of those numbers. It had been generally assumed that victory for the Shogunate army was a matter of when, as opposed to if. However, the Satsuma-choshu's use of advanced weaponry unexpectedly proved to be a key factor to disrupt the Shogunate army's plan of attack. Yeah. Are we in the woods already? Oh my goodness. This is going so quickly!
Yukimura, are you alright? We have been running for a while. Are your feet tired or hurt?
I'm fine. In an effort to summon reinforcements, Inoue and I were sent towards the Kyoto domain.
It is of the utmost importance that we complete our mission and return to the magistrate as soon as possible. For Toshi's sake.
Inoue's words had evoked my memory of all that had happened in the last few days. Do go on. Give me a summary.
Damn it! What the hell is going on? The guns they're using are inhuman. Seems like it'll hit you a mile away.
God, there's no way we can just go in while they're reloading and charge them.
Well, sir, the enemy seems to be using a kind of gun that allows for breech loading, which means you need only your fingertips to reload.
What?
Those are the kind of guns that Sakamoto brought over from foreign countries and sold to the Satsuma.
That son of a bitch. He sure knows how to stir up a pot.
Hijikata's brows furrowed for a moment, trying to quickly whip up a plan of attack.
Gen, think you can head to Kyoto Castle and ask for some backup? They may have the technology, but we definitely have the manpower. If we just throw men at them, we may stand a chance. Very well, consider it done. Yukimura, go with them. It'll be safer out there than it is over here.
Understood. It seemed the only thing the shogunate had going for itself was our numbers, and I couldn't quite stomach the fact we seemed to be falling behind. However, for the Shinsengumi's sake, I must do whatever I can. We'll try. Soon enough, we had arrived at our destination of Kyoto Castle.
Hello! I bring message of the war front in Kyoto. We need support to push back Satsuma-Choshu forces attempting to subvert control from our lord.
Inoue had been frantically yelling at the enormous closed gate in the castle's entrance. Huh? Finally, someone had peered out of the second-floor window, looking down at us. However, I saw something glimmer in his hand, reflecting from the sunlight. Wait, is that? Inoue, look over there! Suddenly, gunfire had been aimed and shot at us. Inoue and I ducked down to evade being targeted. What's going on? I thought the Yodo domain were loyalists!
They were. Until now, it seems.
What? That's betrayal!
Unfortunately, it happens more often than you would expect in the middle of wars. Let us return to Toshi. There is no point in us staying here any longer.
My heart was filled with frustration. To betray the shogunate as it had been suffering. If the roles were reversed and it was Kyoto Castle asking the Shinsengumi for help, we would never do such a thing. Inoue hung his head low, walking with a little slump in his back as we returned down the path. Just then, more gunshots had echoed behind us. But it wasn't in the direction we'd just come from.
Yukimura, get down!
I think we're stuck. I ducked instantly, and a bullet had just barely missed the tops of our heads as it sped past us.
That flag! It's the Tosa's!
Tosa domain? That was... Tosa was Sakamoto's domain.
The Tosa should be loyalists as well.
Inoue turned to face me, signaling me to keep my head low and still until he gave the sign. Then I hear another barrage of gunfire. Ah!
Yukimura, this way! There is no doubt. Those bullets are aimed for us since we are Shinsengumi.
Inoue and I had found some cover behind a pair of bushes just off the rural path.
What the? Where'd those Shinsengumi guys go? Search the whole area. They can't have gone too far.
Inoue nodded at me, and together we scurried from behind the bush to behind a large tree trunk. Somehow we were able to elude the attention of the Tosa soldiers for quite some time. Of course, there was still no time to rest. As soon as it seemed like the coast was clear, Inoue gave me a tired smile.
So, we have Ryouma Sakamoto to thank for the Satsuma Choshu's weaponry, do we? It seems Toshi had the right assumption.
With the war being largely affected by the enemy's weaponry, and now that Sakamoto's home domain became the Shinsengumi's enemies, well, it was hard for me to deny how many favors Sakamoto seemed to have given our opposition.
You were rather close to Sakamoto, weren't you, Yukimura? This must be difficult for you.
It's fine. I tried my best to downplay how I felt about it all, but it seemed that Inoue saw right through me. He tenderly placed his hand on my shoulder, smiling.
I want to give you time to process this, but it is imperative we hurry back to Toshi as soon as possible and update him to the treason of the Yodo and Tosa.
Yes, I know. We got back onto the main trail, heading back towards the direction of Fushimi in a light jog. Uh-oh. Is it snowing? The sun had completely set by the time we had returned to Fushimi.
We're almost at the magistrate. Hang in there.
Don't worry about me, I'm fine. Just as I responded to him, we were startled by a gang of footsteps from right behind us. It wasn't just one or two people either, but an entire troop of men behind us. We turned to face them slowly, and above them we saw the Tosa banner shining brightly under a flaming torch. In a way, they're back!
They followed us all this way, eh? Nothing we can do about it.
Inoue drew out his sword, glaring in the direction where the enemies were standing.
Yukimura, hide! Do not come out until I tell you to.
But Inoue!
Everything will be okay. Luckily, they are not as dangerous as the other troops. I do not see any rifles. I have been a devout student of the Tenin Rishin style for this very reason. If it comes down to a show of swordsmanship, I can't lose. Now go!
Inoue kindly urged me to hide, so I found a small patio to hide behind just off the street next to us. However, as I watched Inoue from the shadows, I kept my right hand firmly fixed on my kodachi. If Inoue were to run into any serious trouble in battle, I fully accepted the risk of backing him up. Tosa warriors clothed in Western-style uniforms surrounded Inoue, one of them in particular licking his lips as he smirked creepily. Just then... the Tosa soldiers had charged for Inoue a lot faster than he had expected them to. Oh my. I've never seen that look on Inoue's face before.
Are they...
Furies? Inoue screamed, and as I realized why, my stomach dropped like a stone. Yep. The eyes of the Tosa warriors glowed an eerie, horrific shade of crimson, and as one of them came closer to my line of sight, I saw fangs! Fangs? As Inoue blocked one of their advances with his sword, he attempted a low slash in quick return. Ooh. But his blade was smacked aside with ease. Inoue! My worry caused me to impulsively call out to him, and I panicked, realizing he wanted me to hide. I wasn't sure if I could use any powers, whatever ones I had, to fight the Furies, but... even so, I should be able to help him out in some capacity by using my kodachi. I unsheathed my short blade, and I moved to charge at a Fury who was about to land a fatal blow on Inoue. Ah! But another Fury came from behind, pulling my hair. Just then... Inoue let out a blood-curdling scream, and the sound of his flesh being sliced open made me wince. Then, it seemed like he fell unconscious, slamming against the ground. What? I felt my eyelids stiffen and I couldn't blink. Blood was gushing from Inoue's body, and his eyes were glossy, as if the light had suddenly left the once bright twinkle in his eyes. Well, what? What just happened? My brain refused to process it. This can't be real. You're okay, aren't you, Inoue? We still need to make it back to Hijikata. Inoue, who had been one of the kindest people I'd met in the Shinsengumi, was now dead. These kinds of things don't happen, right? Inoue! Please wake up! I was in a near hallucinatory daze, trying to run up to Inoue as if he were just knocked out. However, I'd forgotten that my hair was in the hands of an enemy Tosa soldier, and I couldn't move. Just then...
Jeez, always got the worst luck, don't you?
I heard a familiar voice. However, the tone of said voice was different than I'd become accustomed to hearing it. Whenever I'd heard it in the past, no matter how tough or tense it was, there was a warmth to it. This time, however, it was unmistakably cold. Timidly, I looked in the direction from which I thought I'd heard the voice. I knew I should have been worried about that angle of the gun. Hi.
Don't move. Anyone budges, I'll shoot.
A man adorned in foreign attire appeared, who for some reason resembled Sakamoto. The moon hung above the winter sky like a white sickle, and the light gleamed on his sharp cheeks. When I caught sight of him, my hair stood. In his right hand was a 6-shooter pistol, and it was pointed straight for me. Ah. Sakamoto? I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. The man I saw was him, so I called out to him. However, he didn't respond. He merely directed his icy gaze towards me. Sakamoto, it's you, right? Why? My hands were trembling, and I called him again. Then he fired his gun right in front of me. Ah! The bullet was aimed right next to where my foot was, hitting the ground as I lifted my leg.
I said don't move.
I had no words. Rather than feeling fear from the possibility of being shot to death, I was brokenhearted to see Sakamoto behave in a way that was so completely foreign to the person I'd grown to admire. He kept his finger fixed on the trigger, and he spoke again in a cold monotone.
Told you before, didn't I? I'm an enemy of the Shinsengumis. Could just shoot you right here and now, but they told me you're the only one I can't kill. Lucky you are.
Sakamoto was saying things I'd never thought would ever come from his mouth. Did he just say he would shoot me? The Sakamoto I knew always said that violence wasn't the answer. Or had all of that been a lie?
You're coming with me. Your father's orders.
What? No, Sakamoto! I tried calling out to him once more, but Sakamoto only glanced at me with disinterest, turning to face the Tosa Fury behind him to give a command. Okay, but real talk, that outfit is on point. Love it.
Take her to the Fushimi mansion.
Then Sakamoto walked into a dark alley and disappeared. Wait! Please! At least allow me to bury Inoue, please! I desperately screamed at the Furies, but no one seemed concerned in the least bit about me. My voice was a whisper in the darkness.